Today we're going to be looking at association and causation. Association we briefly talked about when we were talking about correlation, and this is a relationship between a set of data with two variables that do not need to be dependent on each other. So that means there's no necessary cause and effect. It's just looking at the relationship and determining if maybe there is a correlation, meaning there is a relationship, but one is not causing, whether it be positive or negative, causing that relationship to occur. So examples of this would be the faster a student types, the longer the paper will be. That may tend to have a positive or negative association, but it's not necessarily the cause of the paper being longer. Maybe the paper needs to be longer because the requirement for the paper is longer. Popcorn sales versus soda sales. They often go hand in hand. Popcorn is salty, it makes people thirsty, so they tend to buy a soda with it as well. You often see people buying popcorn and soda together at the movies. Association would be, another association example would be the amount of rainfall and the temperature. You may see a relationship here. You may see that in the warmer months, it may rain more than it does in the cooler months, or vice versa, but that does not mean one causes the other. Whereas causation is a relationship where one event or thing causes another. So this is your cause and effect. So for example, the higher the volume on a radio, the louder the song will be. Or the slower the pace of a runner, the longer it takes to finish a race. Your pace impacts your overall rate as you travel, and so it's going to take you longer, and as opposed to if you were going as a faster pace. And the pages printed and the amount of ink left in the printer. The amount of ink in a printer is finite, so the more you print, the less ink there is. There is a cause and effect relationship there. So we are going to look at some relationships and determine if they are a association. So there is some sort of relationship there, but that's not one directly tied. There is not a cause and effect relationship. If it is a cause and effect relationship, then it is a causation. So the age of a child and the number of siblings they have. So the age of a child and the number of siblings they have. So the age of a child does not dictate how many siblings they have. You could have a child who is 6 and have no siblings, or a child that is 6 and have 2 siblings or 3 siblings, or a child that is 6 and has 7 siblings. There is no cause and effect for that by any means. That is an association. Ooh, my pen stopped working. There we go. Another one, the distance traveled and the time spent driving. Well, the farther you are going, the longer you're going to be traveling typically. So there is some sort of association or stronger than association. Let's look at distance traveled and time spent driving. If you're trying to determine if there's a cause and effect relationship, think about changing the first term or variable or situation and seeing how it affects the second one. So the distance traveled, time spent driving. The longer we have to travel for, the longer distance we have to go, the longer we spend in the car, versus the shorter distance that we need to travel. Typically, if your speed is the same, your time spent in the car is going to be less. So there is a cause and effect relationship there. So this is going to be a causation. Okay. The cost of carrots and the number of carrots sold. The cost of carrots and the number of carrots sold. Now, there could be kind of two forms of the argument for this one, honestly. you could say that if you need 7 carrots, no matter what, you're going to buy 7 carrots. But if the cost of 7 carrots is prohibitive, meaning it's making it difficult for somebody to buy the 7 carrots that they need, they may not buy all 7 carrots. And so I would associate that as a causation. The cost of the carrots could change somebody's ability to buy the number of carrots that they need. Okay. How about height and intelligence? If your height changes, does it change how smart you are? Does it change your intelligence level? No. That would just be an association. There may be some relationship there. There could be no relationship at all. No association is still considered association. That's how we would classify it. We would not classify it as a causation. And the number of correct answers on a test and the score on a test. So the more that you get correct, that should change the score on the test. So there is a cause and effect relationship there. So we're going to call this a causation.